is the room detail. So you navigate to this screen from the list of rooms. I tap on a room name, and this is what you see. So at the top we have the header, which is should be familiar. It's before we had the group up here, the group logo. Now we have the icon that comes with that room, the room name, and the group name underneath. So this is to help with context. I'm in Darla's wedding, and this is the bridesmaids, let's say. So the more takes you over to this screen where you have the room activities. You can report, delete the room if you have the capability. You can mute the room, you can share, you can pin it to the top. You can set alerts on it, and you can search. So those are the pretty standard, and we use these over and over, and a lot of those are global actions. Pretty much all of them are global actions. And you can see like this room has been pinned already, so that menu would say unpin, and it has an alert on it. So I would go in and I would be able to modify that alert on this room. And you can see this top person here has been also pinned, and there is an alert set on that person. So you can set an alert on a room, you can set it on a group, you can set it on probably a list, or an item price, probably a brand, lots of different things you can set alerts on. But pinning it to the top, it would pin it to the top of the grouping of people that you have. So in this case, I pinned this person to the top of the message. So what happens here is this is the notification that they're same as we had up here, where we have like there's one at of me in that group. This is telling me that's that same color, that's that focus color, and it's telling me there are 2 new messages since my last open, or 2 new at handles basically since my last open. And the last open time would be since whenever they left the application or left the screen. I can mark this as red by tapping this, basically the whole entire width of this, and it would mark it as red. But if I were to scroll down, it would then basically do the same action. So you're indicating that, yeah, I've seen this by scrolling down, and it just scrolls off the screen and disappears, and it's gone, and it doesn't come back. So the most recent messages will be at the bottom, and the least recent be at the top, very similar to the way that Slack has it. And you can see the naming. So since this one's pinned, this was at 3:15 a.m., and that's somewhere in here. Oh no, it's right in here. So this one is automatically pinned. It goes outside of the structure of least recent to most recent being at the bottom. So 3 days ago, 1 day ago, and then this is today, where it's kind of going through the day. And this button down here shows me that there is more below. And what this does is this, by tapping this, it would jump me to the bottom of this conversation. So it's just a quick way to jump to the bottom. Once I've gone to the bottom, this button is not present anymore. But if I were to scroll up again, it just gives me a quick way to jump back to the bottom of the conversation, because there'll always be new messages coming in. You want a quick way to go back to that. Here you can see I got 2 notifications here, the same new messages since. I got the highlight that is this 2 pixel wide bar on the side of these 2 messages. So those 2 messages have the bolding that gives a visual indicator that it's there, and the highlight here. And it's a highlight because of the at handle, at everyone. So that's the only reason you have this over here. If you didn't have this over here, it would just be bold for messages that I possibly didn't read yet. Or no, it wouldn't be at all. So yeah, so that's, I can, if I wanted to create a new message within this room, I could just tap this, and it would move me over to the message add. So that just brings up a sheet, and now I'm typing in a message, and I can add lots of different things to the message. I can add attachments, I can add photo, I can add tags, I can add, and this is from the standard editor module. So the editor module is a large section, and we will be using this everywhere we're adding text or images or attachments or pinning or not tagging stuff and sharing stuff. So this is something that will need to be built out and will be used in multiple areas. So all I'm showing here is the two states of it. So right now I haven't typed anything in, and you see there isn't a button over here, and the go isn't highlighted. But once I start to type something, it needs to adapt. So you can see over here, I can speak into it, but here it is for clearing the message. So that would change. Once I start to add content, then that needs to show up. And this button needs to show up. So this button pushes everything over, and then I'm adding my content. Once I get to the end of this line, where it's then kind of scrolling off, that would also trigger an event. So that triggers this text field to turn into a text area. All that is covered in the editor module area. So I'll leave that for that. And I've shot a video of that as well. Yeah, so the add here is the same capability of adding an attachment. So you can add all these different things to it the same way that you can from once you have the editor up, that those capabilities are listed below it, basically listed down here. So, and do note, once we have like a direct message group, this is how it would show up. For instead of the room at the top here, this is the appearance of that, where you would have the same people's, the avatars of the people, from the most active person to the least active person in the direct message. So that is the room detail.